I think a lot of people at home will think that you left because of the war, but maybe you can tell us, why did you leave in the first place, and why did you choose Canada? Because that's also very important to know.
Yes. So as you know, the wars in the world, they don't start like in one day, right? There are some like crises in the country, some fights, some situations, right? Where you can predict that something can happen. So actually, the actual war in Ukraine with Russia started in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea.
Crimea, yes, I remember that.
Yes. So the war started back then.
Technically, yeah.
Technically, yeah. And then from Crimea, the war started at Donbass region. So Russia occupied some territories, and I believe around 2016, 2017, I don't remember like exactly. Back then, the war was like paused, you know? So like, it was a kind of like ceasefire agreement.
Yeah, which in this day and age, nobody really knows what that even means anymore.
Yeah, but back then, it was like the new borders were created.
Yeah.
But still, Ukraine didn't allow Russia to capture it like completely, right? Like Ukraine always said that like, no, even though you captured these territories, it's still Ukraine.
So basically, what you're saying is that you saw the trend, you identified the red flags, and it was just a matter of time until things would escalate.
Yeah, and then like the situation in the country wasn't very stable. I was learning English, and
so how like, I don't remember exactly when the war started, but when exactly did you move to Canada? How much time was it in between your move and the start of the war?
4 months.
4 months. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
So I left Canada on November 2nd, and the war started on February 24th.
So had you waited, 4 more months, let's say, or longer, then there would have been a risk to get stuck in Ukraine. And
100%. Yeah. So it was just a sheer luck.
Well, not sheer luck. I think I know what you mean, but basically how do I put this into words? You dodged the war and potentially fighting and dying for your country by like 4 months. That's crazy. That's intense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were able to do that, and no offense to any Ukrainians listening that maybe think that you should have stayed and fought for your motherland. I don't want to get into that. This podcast and this show is all about freedom. Fundamentally, we don't believe in any type of war or violence. So I would have done the same thing. I hope I would have done the same thing. I would have tried to do the same thing. But so yeah, you moved to Canada. Why Canada at that time? So the year was
2022. I left Canada, but I was preparing for this trip, I think, for 2 years. My first, yeah.
But why did you choose Canada? And what other options did you have?
So I was thinking, I had 2 options: United States and Canada.
Okay.
Actually. But I chose Canada very quickly because of the number of Ukrainians that live in Canada. So I knew, for example, even if I moved to Canada having nothing, even when I speak Ukrainian or Russian, I'm gonna find some help amongst my compatriots.
That's fair.
And also the immigration system. It was a little bit easier to immigrate to Canada and get Canadian citizenship rather than United States.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I didn't know that whether I'm gonna live in Canada for a long time or not. I knew that it's easier to come to Canada and it's easier to stay there. It's not very easy to get documents, right? To legalize, to get legalized in Canada, but it's definitely much easier than United States.
Okay. And did it work out the way you expected it? Or how did the journey, like your first, I mean, you've been in Paraguay now for 3 weeks. So how were the first 3 weeks in Canada? Did it, were your expectations met? Did it work out the way you expected it, or was it completely different?
Before coming to Canada, I had zero expectations because I traveled in Europe, right? But everything I imagined, it was just pictures from movies, because usually like Hollywood is in Canada, in United States. So I had just pictures in my mind of the movies, like streets, just like regular life. And it was hard, honestly, because I'm not from very rich family. My parents are military. They provided some help. They supported my trip to Canada, and they did their best financially and just like as a support. Before my trip, I had some money. I was like, I remember like $4,000 or $5,000, but it was, I think it was like a crypto crash, and I had some. I invested in crypto.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that.
I think it was 2021, something like that, when the crypto crashed.
After the bull cycle.
Yeah, and I had leverage, So I lost. So I crashed from $5,000 to $1,000.
Ouch.
And I was supposed to go to Canada back then. So I mean, in my thought, I have right now $5,000. I need to make a little bit more money, and I could pay for my college. I had this thought, But then the crypto crashed, and I had $1,000 American dollars, and my ticket to Canada. So I come to Canada with $1,000 and visa for. I remember it was supposed to be 2 years at the beginning, but I didn't pay for the college because I didn't have money. So at the border, the immigration officer, he kind of like shortened my stay from 2 years to half a year because I didn't pay for my college. I only paid for my language school.
Ooh.
Yes.
I didn't know that was even a thing.
Yes.
So that's something that he had the decision to make. He was able to make that decision just on the fly based on whatever you presented.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
So I started like in a very different way than I was expecting.
Okay. So 3 weeks into 3 weeks into your new life in Canada, and I don't want to talk about Paraguay too much right now, but if you compare how you felt emotionally and just in general 3 weeks into your stay in Canada versus 3 weeks into Paraguay, how could you compare the two?
My first time coming to Canada, to Paraguay, or right now when I moved completely?
No, now when you move completely.
This time I moved to Paraguay with a clear plan, because I already had the job in the real estate office in Remax. So I already knew that I'm gonna work here. I had a clear path, clear goal. I had my apartment booked. I had everything settled and people waiting for me here. And in Canada, I just had a friend of my friend who helped me first months, and then I did everything by my own.
Which is, I'm sure that was a valuable experience for you, right?
That's why I wasn't afraid to move to a new country, because I already experienced one immigration when I was 22 years old. And that's why, you grow as a man. You have hardships, you have lots of experiences, and every time you do something new, you have less and less fear because you've done it lots of times in the past.
So how much time did you spend in Canada before you moved to, actually not even moved, how much time did you spend in Canada until you decided to explore this option? Like the first time you came here?